Hi Hip Kit friends! I'm excited to be back with you today to share another layout. This time I am using the November Hip Kits and I am focusing on the main kit this time. So this beautiful patterned paper that has all of these wonderful ornaments and nutcrackers and all kinds of great things is the main focus for the layout. So I went through and fussy cut a bunch of ornaments out, and I tried to get a couple of each color and cut those out. And then here what I've done after cutting all of those out is I am embellishing them. So I'm using the embellishment pack that is in the main kit, and I pulled out all of the teeny tiny pieces and parts, and I embellished each of those ornaments, mostly tone on tone. So the navy I embellished like with the navy heart, you can see. The pink I embellished with a pink star, those kinds of things. The red I embellished with one of their little red ornaments. And so some of those pieces from that embellishment kit I did fussy cut just so I could layer it on top of the other, the background ornament. And then some of them I left just how they were. So it really just kind of depended, but I loved adding little bits and pieces to the centers of those ornaments that were in the patterned paper, because most of the centers were white, and so I wanted to add a little bit more detailing to that. So right here I'm fussy cutting a little pink ornament that was beautiful and put it on top of the pink ornament from the patterned paper. So that's what I did. And now what I'm doing is I'm laying those out, and I'm going to be adding, kind of positioning them where I want them to go on the layout, so that I can add just a little bit of color wash behind those, using some of the things from some of the mediums from the November color kit extravaganza. It's a fabulous color kit. And also the October color kit. I used a couple of things from that. So here what I'm doing is I traced around each of the ornaments just so I would know where I wanted the color on the background to go. And then I am going through and I'm just kind of lightly erasing. I wanted the lines to be there so that I knew where I was working, but I didn't want them to show. So each time I do go and lighten up those pencil lines, and then I add the color. So the red that I just did using an ink blending tool was from the November color kit, and that was the Passion Fruit Pink Fresh Studio ink. It's a premium dye ink, which I love. And then the green is from the October color kit. It's the Beach Glass Vibes from Shimmer's Paints, which Shimmer's Paints have my heart. So I love all of those. And then the pink here is the Inklings Bahama Mama from the October color kit. I'm almost out of that. I've used it on so many layouts. I love that color. And it's perfect. So what I did, the ornaments that were in the patterned paper, there was a red one, a lighter pink one, and then there was a pink one that was almost in between pink and red, kind of like a corally red. So I took the Inklings Bahama Mama and I just added some of the Pink Fresh Passion Fruit ink pad. I just kind of dabbed that on my craft mat, and I added a little bit of that red in there, and it helped me achieve the perfect color for that ornament that was in between pink and red. And then the blue that I'm going to add, I am using the Lapis Dance Creamies from the October color kit. And I'm going to use that for both the light blue and the dark blue. So you'll see here, the Creamies comes dry and you just add water to activate that color. And I am using this that I've just added is going to be the light blue. So you'll see I go and dab up most of that pigment so that it's lighter, and it will dry even a little bit lighter. And then here I'm adding, this is going to be behind the navy ornaments. And so I used that same Creamies, and then I just used some ink that I had in my stash, some darker navy, to just mix into that just a touch. So it's mostly just the Creamies, but I needed it to be just a little bit darker to match that navy ornament from the patterned paper. And that worked really well. And I love that this kit, even 2 or 3 months later, the color kit from October still matches beautifully with the colors each month. It's matched really well. And then this yellow that I'm adding is probably one of my favorite colors that I've ever had. I don't know what it is about it, but I absolutely love it. It's from the November color kit, and it's Christmas Cheer, and it's the original shimmers, and it is so packed full of shimmer and shine. Absolutely love that. It is hard to photograph, I will say, just because it has so much shimmer, but same thing with the pink inklings Bahama Mama, but they are really beautiful, and they're subtle. So I did go back and kind of dab up some of the pigment on each of those because I wanted them to be just a little bit of subtle color behind those ornaments that I had on the background. So here what I'm going to be doing is going back and adding the ornaments. I am going to add a pretty thick craft foam behind each of the ornaments because I want those popped up on the page. So I'm going to lay those out, make sure I have them where I want them to go, and then I'm going to go and add that craft foam behind. And I just did the craft foam, that thick craft foam, just down the center of those. So I didn't spend a whole lot of time trying to put craft foam behind every inch of those ornaments. It's just down the middle. And then I did add a little bit of glue because anytime you're adding to a medium on the background that has shimmer or shine or some kind of metallic finish, it is harder for tape runner to stick to that. So, or even craft foam. So I added the craft foam that is already adhesive, and then just added just a tiny little dot of glue in the middle to make sure it's stuck down really well. So now that I have all of those glued down, what I'm doing is I'm going and adding some holes, and I do kind of eyeball it, and then I also use my T-square ruler to make sure that my lines are straight. And I'm going to be using embroidery thread in coordinating colors. So I coordinated as best that I had. I had almost exactly every color. So I added like on that lighter green, that kind of aqua green, I had a embroidery thread that was like that exact color, and I did just one long stitch. So this is not any major stitching here or anything that takes an exorbitant amount of time. It really is just 2 holes for each ornament. So one at the very top, as close as I could get to the edge without ripping the paper, and then I poked the second hole just under the top of the ornament. So you don't actually see where the thread goes into, but it gives the illusion that that ornament is hanging on the page. So it's not actually connected to the ornaments on the paper, it's just right behind it. Because they're popped up, I didn't want to put thread through them and make them bend at the top. So you can see there that it still gives me the look that I'm wanting, and I love how those ornaments end up looking on the page. So here I am using patterned papers from the November main kit, and I just really quickly hand cut a piece. So I put my photo down, my sweet photo of my babies with their cousins from Christmas morning. I put that down and just cut around it to give an edge because I knew I would be distressing the edges with my Tim Holtz edge distresser. So it didn't need to be exactly straight lines, otherwise I would have used my paper trimmer. And so I'm distressing the edge of a second matted layer, mat for my photo. And I am going to add craft foam in between that layer. So I added the one photo mat using that yellow patterned paper, and then I'm adding craft foam, and then I'm going to add that green. And I love how that looks. So it's going to go there. But before I glue it down, I am going to be using one of the stencils, this beautiful stencil from the November kit. And I'm going to be using that with the Pink Fresh Passion Fruit ink pad. So that's just an foam ink blending tool. And so I'm adding that back behind where the photo is going to be, and I'm sticking really close to the photo. I didn't want this to be a major element on the background. I just wanted it to be a subtle little detail behind my photo. So that is what I'm doing there. You can see I just kind of went around the edge of where that photo is, and really in the end it doesn't stand out too much, but it adds a beautiful, just another little detail behind where my photo cluster is going to go. So this frame here, this is a chipboard frame from the chipboard sheet of embellishments in the November kit, and it says Festive Fun on it. It's a pink frame. I love that. And then I initially stuck the photo down just right on top of it, but it is a chipboard frame, so I don't know what I was thinking. Here you're gonna see me pull it up. So I pulled it off, and I'm gonna add some craft foam just around where that chipboard frame is. So I'm not putting craft foam directly above where it's gonna be glued down to the photo, just around it, so that I'm trying to create basically one even flat layer so that my photo doesn't get wrinkled or have a weird thing going through the middle of it. And then my title, the biggest title, is Merry Christmas, and that is a cardstock piece of ephemera from the ephemera pack. And I adhered just the top of that to the bottom of the photo, and then the bottom of it I added craft foam so that it's all on one layer. So hopefully that makes sense. So the pieces sticking off of that photo have craft foam behind them so that it's even with the photo. And the super cute little Santa was in the ephemera pack as well, so I'm adding craft foam around where it's sitting on top of the chipboard frame, because part of his little body is on top of that chipboard frame, so I don't put craft foam where that is. I just work around it. And glued him on. And then I'm going to be going back and grabbing some pieces from the chipboard embellishments to add to that mat. To add to the cluster. So you'll see there that I'm also adding a couple of little phrases from the ephemera pack around, and I'm just building this photo cluster because I want your eye to be drawn to the sweet photo that's there. I want you to see all those gorgeous ornaments with the embellishments, but I really want you to focus in on the photo. So I'm trying to keep all of that cluster really tight around the photo. I went and pulled a little star off of that chipboard sheet, and I'm adding that. And then I'm adding a few more little embellishments around there from the ephemera pack. These are like little sprigs of greenery and holly. And a little yellow stocking. So the stocking I'm going to glue flat because all of the other things around it have dimension. So I like it to be at different layers. So I needed a few things to be flat on the background. And then the little sprigs, I am using my dry embossing tool to bend the edges of that up just to add a little bit more texture and dimension. And then off camera, I went and added just some little sequins and crystals, and I am finishing it with the Nuvo glitter drops and the Nuvo jewel drops that are both in the November color kit. So I added those jewel drops to the top of the little Santa hat and then around those little clusters of sequins and little crystals. And I also added a few little touches to the ornaments, and then that's going to be the finished layout. So I thank you for watching this process video today. If you liked it, please go ahead and give it a like and subscribe to the Hip Kit channel. There's a new YouTube video every day, and I have all of the links to the kits down below in the comments. Hope you have a great day. Thanks guys. Bye.